welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the semifinals of the SC2's Safe House number 2 playoffs. We just wrapped up with the upper semis. We just wrapped up with Special versus Australia, and now we're going live with Trigger versus Cham. The second semi is another best of 7. This time a PvZ. Let's go. Let's jump in. Game 1 is going to be a Magnatha. Just catching up in the chat. Oh, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está? Este Slow Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 14 months in a row. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Gracias. Do appreciate it. Only a solid hour late to the stream. Oh no. Well, you missed one series. It was an interesting and very versatile. There was a lot of variety, I should say, when it comes to the TVP that we covered. But now we're jumping into that PvZ, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Magnatha, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Magnatha, we have the blue Zerg player himself, representing Xeritus Esports from Latin Mexico. It is a Cham. Este chamaco. Here we go. And Cham, he has been looking like a beast as of late. If you've been watching the channel, if you've been watching Cham over the past couple of months, you would have seen Cham, one, defeat Australia in the group stage, in the group stage of this tournament. Likewise, also perform quite well against Trigger in the group stage as well, and also pop off against Showtime. We've been casting, there's been actually quite a lot of Showtime versus Cham over the past couple of months. It's been surprising to see, specifically during the qualifiers, during the preliminary round of Masters of the Game, and also during the OSC mid-season playoffs as well. And Cham has been looking quite terrifying, even against players like even against players like Showtime. I would say is top 2 Protoss player in all of Europe. If you can take it to Showtime, you can take it to anyone, to almost anyone out there. You can take it to Trigger and take it to Australia as well. Double checking, yes, Cham, he actually beat both Australia and Trigger in the group stage. So Cham, I would say his best matchup is ZVP. I would say that Cham's weakest matchup is ZVT. His Zerg versus Terran does need some work, and it is where he struggles the most, I would say. But his ZVZ is insane. He's even been beating players like Solar as well. And of course, his ZVP is looking very in form as well. Now, how does Cham approach Protoss? Well, Cham, he's very fluid. He's very roach heavy very often. And as we did have a bit of a pause, but the scariest thing about Cham's ZVP matchup is that he is willing to go for all in, and once he realizes it isn't really working, if he's hyper aggressive, he's so willing to back off, drone heavily, greedily so, and actually have an economy behind it to transition out of said all-ins. It has been working against a lot of players, where players like Showtime, players like Australia, players like Trigger would at times overreact. They would overreact to overdefend when they wouldn't need to, because Cham wasn't all-inning, he was droning instead. It actually reminds me a little bit of Miyamika. Not as chaotic, just because Miyamika would do that, but also play with some crazy compositions. Cham a little bit more standard in his composition approach, at least. But it can be a very tricky player to kind of keep up with, for sure. So now it is going to be a Stargate opener. The Adept does move out across the map. Stargate into the Oracle, into a third base, standard opener out to Trigger. We don't really expect to see Trigger mix things up too much. Trigger, he's very mid-game oriented, mid to late game even as well. So we'll see if he ever does deviate away from Stargate play. If this was Australia, I'd be like, okay, he's more willing to open up like Twilight Council or Robo, or just go for something crazy, go for something different. A little bit more willing. Trigger, he does threaten the shade. Two adepts taking 1-shot drones. And he does commit. He does commit in. He gets one. He gets one. Two drones go down. Maspigos getting up to 3. Do we get 4? Ooh, he barely does not. 3 drone kills. That's an okay start for Trigger. Lings, they are going to be triggered to move out across the map, as there are no adepts to defend back at home, so the third base is exposed. At the same time, the first Oracle does get into the main, but the Queens are in position. So far, so good, but alas, no Spore. Yeah, no Spore. 1, 2, 3 drones go down. The Oracle does overextend a little bit, takes a lot of hits, does barely get away. So 3 and 3, 6 in total. 6 drone kills. Lings, they do force a cancel on the pylon. Do we cancel? No shot. No shot. He cancels the base. Second Oracle, yeah, does arrive in time. Does save the expansion. As we're playing a game of... There we go. Basically, Cham, he was waiting for the Oracle to activate its Pulsar Beam. And Trigger, he was a little bit late to activate. Lings, they sip into the main base to confirm the additional Oracle production. As it is going to be triple Oracle out of a Trigger. But Cham, he got a lot out of those Lings. Took down the pylon. Was able to get some damage done on the base itself. And behind this, Forge and Twilight Council should be +1 and Blink. But the timings are a little bit different here. Oh no, the timings are on point. Yeah, it should be +1 and Blink here from Trigger. As the Oracle gets across the map. First Oracle still between the bases. And it does set up at the stasis. Ooh, gonna be zoned away. Okay, so back gets one more drone, 2 in total. Trigger still hunting for damage. Meanwhile, no surprise, Roach Warren here from Cham. Again, he's very Roach heavy typically in this matchup. So bleed out a couple extra drones. This is all adding up, going for the stasis as well. And Cham, he is late to react. No reaction whatsoever. Half the middle line gets caught out. Very nicely done, and Trigger takes a lead. Trigger in total 12 drones, 12 drone kills, 8 Zerglings, and the stasis. And it's still not done. He still yet to lose any of his oracles. Gets one more drone. Oh god. Oh no! Bit of miscontrol. Has to calm down with the oracle. Has to get out of there. Barely gets away on 3 HP. Get out of there, pappy. The stasis. Cham does pull away. Whew. Cham keeps up this time. Getting to his roaches, but for the most part, I would say the Trigger has momentum. Trigger, he has momentum. Back at home is building up his stalkers. He's going for a massive gateway explosion. 6 gates on the way. Getting up to 9 gates in total. He does take his gases. Now, typically when you take your gases, that's indicative of earlier tech. Of taking up in towards Storm or Colossus. But we don't have full saturation. We're going for the War Prism. We are not taking up. We're not expanding either. We should be either taking a 4th base or getting splash damage. He's committing. He's committing to an all-in. I believe going up to a 10-gate 3-base all-in. Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of gateways. But it does hit a little bit later. The reason for this is because with an 8-gate all-in, you would proxy across the map. Here with a 10-gate all-in, we're waiting for the War Prism to reinforce. So Trigger, he needs that War Prism. Prism is on the way. It's going to be pure +1 Blink Stalker. Ooh, Biles, they don't quite get the Observer. Trigger is going for the kill. Cham, he did cut workers. He droned up to 70. Ooh, Observer goes down. Just like the Observer, no more detection. Reinforcements have arrived. And again, Trigger, he has to end it here and now. As he has no 4th base and he has no tech behind this. Outside of +2. Outside of those upgrades. So far, Cham is buying time. He's just buying time here at the expansion. Biles a zone away. Doesn't want to bile too much here. Does want to hold on to some to keep those biles going. Speaking of, the queens are getting a bit exposed. More stalkers going down. And Cham, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Cham. Gets on top of the stalkers. 2, 3 stalkers going down. 8 in total. Okay. 8 stalker kills. And getting another Biles A. Oh, 2 crazy army. Yeah, once again, the crazy army at the same time. Bailing run by in the middle. Let's go. Okay. Bailing's they got in. 13 probe kills. Cham, he's holding. I mean, those are less links to defend back at home, true. The Ravagers are getting exposed. You can't afford to lose Ravagers. The base is going to go down. You'll lose the 4th. That will impact Larva. Trigger is rotating. So the Ace goes off in the main. Trigger is still so close to breaking Cham. So close. And he may still have too much. Killing the Proto across the map was nice, but... Oh! Things are moving in. Mortal has arrived as well. If Stasis goes off, Bailey's, they do zone back the Stalkers. They force out some micro, decent connections. Oh, he dives in. Yeah, he dives on top of the Ravagers here, and Trigger, he has too much. He cleans up every single Ravager. Again, Cham, he was so close to holding. He had an impressive defense, buying time, killing workers, but GG gets called. Trigger still overwhelms, and Trigger takes game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Trigger does take a lead. Again, Trigger, one of the reasons why he went for a 3-base all-in was because he had such a strong start, killing so many drones at the beginning of the game. It all led into said all-in. Trigger, he knew that he was far enough ahead where he could attempt to go for an all-in like this and cripple Cham before he stabilized. And Cham almost got there. He almost stabilized. The 4th base was going to be long gone to begin with here. Unfortunately, on this map, on Maganatha, there's no kind of like alternate 4th, so ahead of time, typically if we were on ley lines, for example, if the 4th base was under threat, then Cham would expand at the linear 4th base, at the opposing 4th base, and then start transferring his workers over to maintain his economy, to maintain his lava. Here on Maganatha, there's no other 4th, right? There's no other 4th base option outside of the center 4th base, which no shot you can take that base while you're being all in. So once it went down, like that was game then and there. Trigger snowball out of control, and with that, we're now getting into game number 2, loading into torches. Let's go. Alright, loading into torches. Cham stopped droning in time, 6 cents. I mean, it depends what he saw. I didn't quite check, but if he checked and if he saw no 4th base, then you'd know not to drone, for sure. As we are getting into our next game. Getting into game 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of torches, we have the blue Zerg player, the Mexican Zerg representing Xeritus Esports. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is a Cham. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the red Protoss for Basilisk. In the series 1-0, it is a Trigger. Go. As welcome on all to torches. It is very, very common for Zerg players to all in on this map. I can't recall the last time that we saw a Zerg player in ZVP go for a standard macro game on torches. We'll see if Cham is also one to commit, as he actually goes for gasless. No, never mind. Cham opener. Hatch, pool, gas right next to each other. This is something that Cham is very fond of, but I'm a little bit surprised that Cham does take his natural base. Now, it is very common for at least the Korean Zergs to mine these minerals, to mine through the minerals and to take the center goal base as the natural instead and turn this into a Ling all-in and go for a Ling flood, mine through these patches and just commit into the bases. It is very, very trendy, very popular, very common. So for Cham not to do that, I'm sure Trigger is scratching his head. I'm sure he's like, what? We just gotta play one out. Okay, let's go. So a little bit of a surprising choice here from Cham. And he may just play this out normally. We'll see. We'll see where he takes his third. As of course, Trigger, he does double check. I mean, for good reason. He does check the wall. Confirms it is untouched. Clearly a Zerg Mac. I mean, it would be if we mine through the patches though. Like Cham is playing standard instead. He is going for the forward low ground base. Interesting. With this expansion, creep does spread faster across the map, so we could try to commit to a 3-base all-in with this, with boosted creep spread. So we'll see. I'll see. Otherwise, it can be quite exposed. Likewise, if Trigger gains an economic lead early on, then Trigger can just go for another all-in again. I wouldn't be opposed to that. As a reminder, I'm pretty sure that Trigger's build last game was more of a reactive choice. Was based off the damage that he dealt with the Oracles and with the Adepts. Not the initial plan. So you get in, they'll get 1, 2, they'll get 3. Yeah, 3 drones go down. Can we get 4? Oh. And barely not. So 3 drones just like last game. Likewise, with the Adepts going down, that does trigger a counterattack. Cham is going to be going towards the third base of Trigger. This time, the Rush distance by ground is shorter compared to Maganatha, so this third base is under threat. The Oracle sticks around. Yeah, the Oracle has to stay back at home this time, which means no economic damage. Okay. So nicely done here by Cham. This time, Cham, he's able to maintain his economy. Meanwhile, a big shout to Este Sort of God, baby God. Thank you so much, Sort of, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session as well. Welcome back, baby. Welcome back. I know you've been spending a lot of time playing Age of Empires, especially in recent months, but I hope you're enjoying your time returning to StarCraft and trying out the latest patch. Bearing in mind, of course, we have a new map pool on the horizon as well. New map pool soon, TM. But otherwise, hope you've been enjoying yourself. Thank you so much. And welcome one more in the chat to the SC2 Safe House number 2's playoffs. This is of course day number 2. This is a replay cast. We were live casting day 1. We were the official B stream, and now we have our hands on the replays for day number 2. So we're going to be wrapping up the playoffs here tonight. We already wrapped up with Astray versus Special. Now we're here with Cham versus Trigger in a best of 7. Oh boy. As well as a big event that was happening a couple days ago over in the Americas, over in Vegas. At least it was hosted from Vegas. Meanwhile, double Oracle to the natural. Finally does get a couple of drone kills. 3 drones going down. Gases are being taken. Okay, we're taking all 6 gases. Very tech heavy. Curious, do we go for a Spire? We're just going to Roach a Hydra. We did mention earlier, with this low ground base being taken, does mean that Cham is spreading creep faster across the map. So creep is spreading. Roaches are amassing. The lair is now done, and okay, we're going for the infestation pit. In my mind, it was going to be a Spire or a Hydra. Never mind, we're going for the pit instead. No shot we're going into Swarm Host, right? No shot. I mean, Swarm Host play is viable against Protoss and is seen quite commonly, but specifically seen against charge-based openings, right? Against Charge Archon, less so against Blink Stalkers. The reasoning for this is because Blink Stalkers are so much more mobile. It is so much easier for this kind of army to keep up and to shut down Nidus play. Nidus Swarm Host, I mean, specifically. Safety Infestors. Okay, I guess we're rushing to Hive. Have a couple of Infestors on the way. Committing to Ling Roach Ravager. Trigger is poking in. Behind this, getting a proxy gateway, okay? I mean, a pseudo proxy gateway. He's got 8 gates behind this. 9 in total. Okay, so 9 gate blink here from Trigger. Once again, very committed here on the 3 bases. Unlike the last game, there's no Robo, there's no Warp Prism because of the short rush distance by ground. You can see we're just warping in. Yeah, 3 base all in, 3 base all in at a Trigger. He commits. Nice Fungal. Fungal does graze the army. Gets 1, 2, 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers go down. Another nice Fungal. The Vials. Oh my god. Vials do connect. The Fungals, they've been solid, but only 2, right? Only 2 Fungals. There's no Fungals left. Trigger, he is reinforcing. Keeps moving in. And again, it's all or nothing for Trigger. And this time hitting much faster. catching up more roaches. Cham's trying to rush his way in. Does get on top of the stalkers though, not bad. Getting 1, 2, 3, 4 stalker kills, very nice. As Cham forces the army back, we have 2 more infestors on the way. And Cham is holding. Yeah, Cham is holding on, he's surviving. And you can see the difference between game 1 and game 2. Game 1, we did have Trigger go for a similar, a little bit of a later all-in, but it was off of the back of critical economic damage. Here, this game, Trigger got 3 drone kills. He got 6 in total. 3 from the Adepts and 3 from the Oracles. Nowhere near as much. The all-in didn't have as much power behind it. And as time goes on, it's getting better and better for Cham. It's getting better. Yo, we have the flanking fungal. Let's go. Infestors being hidden. Coming in for the flank. Fungal does connect. Very nice fungal. Yeah, with that Cham, he collapses on the army. So many stalkers go down. Yeah, brutal losses here for Trigger. Expensive losses. And with that Cham, just snowballing out of control. Just snowballing out of control, diving on the main army. More stalkers going down. And we will have a series. We will have a series here. The first semis was a little more one-sided. But here, Cham, as you mentioned before, Cham, he already beat Trigger in the group stage. He already beat Astray in the group stage as well. And here, he's here to make a series out of this. Not going to be a 4-0. Nah. As Cham is almost maxed. He's almost maxed out. He's holding on to another fungal. Keeping up with the army. 18 Lings on the way. Again, Lings are ideal for tanking stalker shots. We're closing that distance. Now we see Trigger expanding, but it's such a late base, such a late expansion. It's too late, Pat. It's too late. And remember, there's no Storm, there's no Colossus, there's no splash damage. Why? Because it was an all-in, right? We built up to an all-in. Trigger, he was meant to end the game with his push. And without that happening, you can see that he has no follow-up tech. That's why it's called an all-in. If it doesn't work, I mean, it's all we had. It's all we had, back. Oof. Another fungal connects. So, because they cannot blink away. And Cham just starter steps in. Chases down the army, pushes it all the way towards what would be 4th base. And this 4th should not get up and running. It shouldn't happen. As Cham has half his army that are getting caught up by reinforcements. But they're on top of the 4th base. Will go down. Trigger, he survives with a handful of stalkers. 4th base falls. Oh. Does dodge. Dodge the wilds. Cham can just back up. He can rebuild, remax, and do that all over again. He can just do it again. Cham does start to step in. Chases down the stalkers. Painless to get into the middle lane. They use attempt to. And GG gets called. The 3rd base is broken. And Cham, he ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. We are tied up. And again, Trigger, he went for a very similar build. He went for a 9-gate all-in. He didn't take his gases at his 3rd base. He had no Robo, he had no Warp Prism, just because the rush distance by ground is shorter, so you can get away with just having a proxy gateway instead. But as we mentioned, unlike game number 1, he did not do as much economic damage early on. Likewise, we had the added extra flair of the infestation bit of the infestors for Cham. Really nice addition of the infestors, as they helped just lock down and shut down those stalkers. They helped to just shut down the all-in. GG, well played. So very nice setup there by Cham, and again, not as good of a setup for Trigger compared to the first game. Now we're getting into game number 3. Jumping to game 3 here. Game 3 is going to be on Persephone, and we'll see who can take a lead in the series. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Mexican Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg for Xeritus Esports. It is Cham. Go. So we are getting into our third game of the series. We're loading into Persephone. Boy. Persephone is an interesting map. It's a little bit more quote-unquote standard. The bases are relatively secure. There is an area in between the third and fourth base you can kind of abuse and you can traverse between. We have seen a lot of Zerg players attempt to go for set all-ins on this map as well, but as I speak on that, this series has been it's been very different. It's been very, very different to what we expect. Trigger has been going for non-stop all-ins. He's been going for non-stop 3-base all-ins. He went for a 10-gate 3-base all-in in game 1, went for a 9-gate 3-base all-in in game number 2. So it's been hyper-aggression from Trigger, and with mixed success, right? With mixed success, as opposed to Cham, who I was assuming was going to be the aggressor instead. So the roles have been reversed, and Trigger's been just very in the face of Cham. But at this point, I feel like we have to calm down. This point, we're gonna calm down. We're gonna calm down. We shall see. Cham, he is setting up, going for his third. Setting up for his third base, likewise Stargate opener out of Trigger. Does open Stargate. Everything's looking normal so far. Again, Cham, hatch gas pool. Third base on the way, Stargate opener, Oracle into a third base out of Trigger as well. And early on, it just comes down to how many losses Cham will accumulate, if at all. And whether Trigger commits on 3 bases again. No shot. It's possible. Trigger does get in. Sword up station into the main. They catch out a couple of lings, but this time Cham keeps up, and this time drones are not going down. Okay. Last 2 games, these are so they would at least get 3 drone kills, but not this time. Ling speed is almost done, and Cham can chase. He does give chase. He's going for the Adept, and ideally will go for the third base as well. Oracle into the main base. Cham is keeping up. No spawn in the main though, which means 1, 2 drones go down. Oracle does pull out, and Cham did catch the Adept. Or did he? He did. So he gets 2 Adept kills. He does rotate, does check, does get eyes on the third base. The second Oracle does stick around to defend. Ooh, and that is a much earlier Twilight Council. Okay, based on this Twilight Council timing, this looks like Glaive Adepts. This does look like Glaives. The other option here could be Charge, but we'd have a bit of a later Forge here by now. Lings, they get in, they get a full scout. Cham, he's gonna see everything. That should not have happened. Adept out of position. Adept was out of position. Lings, they poke in, they get eyes on one of the gateways, and he has not seen the timing of the Twilight Council yet. Right, let's get behind the mineral line, and he should get a full scout. There he sees. He does see that it's already done. He knows Glaive Adepts are on the way, and we need an earlier Roach Warren. I say that. We did actually get a forge. Yeah, forge here at the natural base. I mean, Cham sees it. Cham, he sees it with the Overlord, so my apologies here. With a forge on the way, it's not Glaives. It's not Glaive Adepts. It is going to be Blink, of course, but Cham knows that as well. It's going to be early Blink. Early Blink, it's a +1. And Cham is fully aware. So I meant to say, if there was no forge, this should have been Glaives. Cham, he sees all, he knows all, plus on range is on the way. Going for his own Roach Horn eventually as well. Ah, actually, never mind. Going for a Ling Hydra, but with the range upgrade instead. A little more committed play here into Hydras. Interesting. Hydra is on the way. Lings are amassing. As Cham will lose another Overlord. Brutal supply block. Cham gets supply blocked. Things are amassing. And Cham should have enough to defend. Does even force a read. No blink! No shot, no blink. Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, blink is nowhere near being done. 2 Stalkers go down. Better trade here for Cham. And the question is, Cham is going to cut workers. A 4th base, yes, but is this just for Larva? We have oh, he's droning. Okay, never mind. He's droning up. He's applying a lot of pressure, don't get me wrong. But he's saturating his own base. The Oracle does confirm. Does get eyes on some saturation at least. There's Revelation. Queens do reveal. And Cham drones up to 81. Drones up quite heavily. Does turn up. Likewise, we have Ling Bane Hydra massing up here for Cham. Cham he has a choice to make. He can either just max out Ling Bane Hydra, or he can go and take up into Lurkers. And we can see the answer to that. He's not taking up into Lurkers, he's maxing out. Meanwhile, it's going to be on Trigger to defend. He's throwing down a wall of cannons, shield batteries. After the early blink timing, did it crumble? Did it fall on its face? We're just turtling up as hard as we can. Storm is complete, and it will be depending on whether or not Trigger can defend. Can Trigger defend, or will Cham break him with this push? With this essentially lair tech all in, as there's no hive, no lurkers. So going for a Baneling drop towards the main, massing up his main army. Remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for Trigger. He just has to survive. And so far the side defense is getting ready. It'll be done in time. Here comes Cham. Cham throws down the infestation with a case, so he's now starting to tech up. It's very late, but it's on the way. So in case this fails. Results are dealt with. Drop into the main. And how well the storm's gonna connect. There's the first storm. Ooh, brutal storms. Yeah, storms are brutal. Safe stress being triggered. And Cham trying to rush through those storms. Trying to, though. Yeah, Banelings don't quite make it through. They don't make it through, they get choked up. And Trigger, so far, he is holding. At the same time, we do see Banelings in the main base. 13 probes go down. Cham does get some damage. But he failed to break the fort. When it came to the main fight, Trigger did dominate. And Cham plummets in supply, and now he techs. Yeah, he sees the attack has failed. Now we get the hive, and now we get the spire. Now we get the gases. So Cham, he has recognized that his all-in has failed, and now he's trying to tech out of this and trying to build up and get into a longer game. Cham is now in a worse position, and there's a big window in time here where Trigger can move out. Oh, Bandits able to make it through. Templar. More Lings are on the way. Again, there's just so much pressure on Cham. This is good damage, and he needs to keep this going. He needs to keep this going. He rotates once again, keeps the pressure up. He's buying time for his hive. He's buying time for potentially even Broodlords, as he has no lurker den. Yep, there it is. Greater Spire's on the way. Corruptors as well. Cham rushing into Broodlord tech. Can work. Can make this work. Tempests are building up. And Trigger is getting into a Sky Toss. It's a bit of a later transition though, as there is only one Stargate. How many models do we have? 10! Oh my god. And this army is perfect against something like Ultras or something like Lurkers. Unfortunately, it's a much more mobile composition here, much more flexible. Bandits, they roll in. Cham looking to collapse on the army. Throw down a couple of storms. Yeah, Ling Bane is being dealt with, but we do have a flanking army getting across the map. Oh. Lings, they hit the third. The Trigger is pushing in. Yeah, he's pushing in. Broodlords are on the way. Cham needs a little bit more time. Un poquito más, bad. As Broodlords are revealed. Army's moving in. There's 4 Broodlords currently. Just 4. And 4, it may just barely be enough. There's not many Stalkers. It's not that much anti-air. And Chammy's holding on. He's holding on with the 4 broods. And yeah, these are expensive run bys. Throws away 3 immortals. 3 immortals are thrown away. Trigger going for the recall into the main. Okay, sure. Let's go. Recalls to the other side. Knocking down another expansion. Still holding on to a couple of storms. Same time, Zelda get into the mineral line, and drones are going to be going down. Does recall back home to safety. Now both recalls are on cooldown. And Cham, sure, he survived, but he's taken a lot of damage, a lot of losses. Trigger, he maintains the core of his army. Second Stargate is done. Third Stargate even. And now a Sky Toss is underway. And again, Cham, his win condition here after the failed all-in was try to strike as quickly as possible with Broodlords. Didn't quite work. It allowed him to survive, but ideally he wanted a little bit more momentum there. Ideally he wanted a stronger fight. A more decisive fight, I should say. He didn't get it. Oh, shout out to the healing pad. So we've built up to 8, soon to be 10 Tempest. It's a lot of Tempest. This Trigger, he rotates. Gets behind the bases. Now what does Cham have to work with here? Cham, he's got 5 Corruptors. The anti-air isn't really there for Cham. He does have a high Broodlord count, but the Broodlords don't really matter against 11 Tempest. So minimal anti-air. He has some Infestors, but no Neural, so he has limited use for the Infestors. He has Fungals available, that is true. He can Fungal, he can Parasitic Bomb, he can Abduct. But again, there's only a handful of Corruptors. We have too much supply here in Lurker Broodlord. Too much supply in anti-ground. We got more broods on the way? Oh god. Yeah. Oh. The observers with the main army. The flanking army. So it's away Cham. Trigger, he's just been rotating, clearing up all this creep. At least as much as he can. As Trigger is giving Cham a lot of time. Again, Cham has 11 Broodlords. Only 7 Corruptors. Now, if he can fight with his spores, then maybe, right? If he can fight with his spores, if he can maybe abduct like a Tempest at a time. Queens are gonna be helping. Maybe. Of course, it does come down to the angle of attack. Base goes down. Big Lurker counterattack. Trigger is committing in. Do we have a detection? The answer is no. Yeah, no observer with the main army. It's a little bit further back. So Lurkers, they stop the advance. I do still feel like Trigger could have been a lot more assertive there. A lot more assertive. If only he had detection. Again, it was 1 volley away from going down. The base, I mean. Less than a volley. Trigger's playing this out slow. Oh. Nice Fungal. Fungal does connect. Corrupts, they commit. Getting almost 1. Sorry, getting 1 Tempest. For 2 Infestors. Down to 6 Corruptors? Aye. Yeah, carriers, they have their place here. Against this just a little amount of anti-air. Don't forget to hydrate, true. Don't forget. Those Broodlords do move in. I mean, Cham has to get rid of them. At least some of them, I mean. And here comes Trigger. Shilling with the army. Here comes the first Fungal. Oh. chain fungal even. Nice abductions. Gets 1, 2, 3, 4 Tempest. And they're going to get caught out by some of the spores. It's going to be 4 Tempest going down. I mean, pretty efficient trades here for Cham. True. Yeah, pretty efficient. But here comes the flanking army. Broodlords are now coming in. But the lurkers are falling. And there's still 6 Tempest left. It's the cloak. Tempest, they can give chase. There's 0 infestors left. So no fungals. And Trigger, he outtrades. He outtrades the army. Gets the final lurker. Can we reaction on Corruptor? Let's go. We have 9 more Corruptors on the way. Gets 1 abduction. James has left 1. Oof. Corruptors overextend. And these have been better fights, better trades here for Trigger. At the same time, Zelaromite takes down 1 base, gets into the mineral line, and Inger for another. And Cham is falling apart here. He's burning through his bank. Oh. I mean, the Tempest did with, sorry, the Brewless did with the Archons quite well. There are so many more Archons coming in. And Trigger, he should take this. Should take this. Tempest, they bully the Broodlords. They bully the Corruptors. And again, like, Cham just had a really rough composition, but also he had a rough composition because it was a failed all-in, right? Like, it was just a really rough road to late game. Trigger, he was in control the entire game. GG gets called, and Trigger, he takes a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, the scariest moment in this game for Trigger was the initial all-in, the initial layer tech all-in with Lingbane Hydra with the drop into the main base. Did kill a mineral line. I want to say he killed like 13 probes, but outside of that, that's really the only damage that Cham was able to deal. After the all-in failed, he fell behind, he stayed behind, he had a subpar army composition. His goal, his role there was to rush into Broodlords, if you remember, but he was stuck with too many Broodlords, and we were trying to emphasize just the lack of anti-air that Cham had, the lack of his ability to deal with the SC2's army. He had 13 Broodlords, he had a bunch of lurkers as well, he had a bunch of anti-air, but nothing really secure against the SC2's. GG. GG, well played. With that, Cham was just outscaled. And with that, we're getting into game number 4. Here we go. Getting into game 4, loading into Tokamak. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Mexican Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Xeritus Esports. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Cham. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. We go. Bearing in mind we are in a best of 7, so first of 4 will claim the series. Trigger does have a lead, but Cham not too far behind. We already have that back and forth, but loading into our next map here, I do favor our Protoss player as welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, known for defensive play. It is easier for a player to turtle up on 4 and 5 bases on Tokamak, which means we often do see Protoss players playing more defensively here, turtling up and maxing out on SC2's. As a result, we often see Zerg players try to be a little bit cheeky here. We have seen Zerg players go into Mutaplay to try to catch them off guard, or try to out-tech them as well, and try to be a little bit greedier that way. We'll see how Cham will approach this. Technically, we could see an all-in as well. All-ins, they're not as effective on this map than other maps, but that doesn't mean they don't work. Like, they can still work out, they can still be successful. Just a little bit more difficult to pull off. We'll see. Shall see. Sorry, just opening the door. Airing the room out a little bit here. I mean, we're kind of here in Australia. We're in spring, nearing summer eventually, towards the end of the year. And has been a lot more hotter as of late. It's getting hot back. Trying to air out the room. Otherwise, we're settling in. Again, hatch gas pool, third base is on the way. Cham opening up as he does. Likewise, a trigger also getting to his own Stargate, into his own third base, into a standard opener. Our eyes are mainly going to be on Cham. Like, we expect to see standard defensive play out of trigger. We'll see if Cham tries to be aggressive and all in and try to break trigger early, or we'll see if he's going to be greedy instead and try to out-tech him. So far, trigger does get called out. Nice catch here by Cham. Getting one, getting both adepts. Ooh, still gets 3 drones though. Aye. So nice trades here from trigger. Gets 3 drones. Pulls away. I say pulls away, gets cleaned up. Then it's going to be on Cham to rally across the map. We do have a probe. I miss rally here from trigger. Throws away a worker. Lings are moving out and trigger is in position. Third, additional oracles on the way, and we'll see how Cham techs. Does he go for an Eva chamber? Does he go for a Roach Warren? Does he go for a Spire with said lair? Cham, he has options. It's going to be a later Twilight Council out of trigger. And we have lair first out of Cham. Okay, so lair before +1. Or lair before Eva chamber. I mean, Cham, he has yet to play Ling Hydra at all so far. I mean, I guess we kind of got that last game with Ling Bane Hydra. But that was +1 range. So we'll see what Cham goes for this time. Link is on the horizon. Delayed Forge, delayed +1. This trigger is looking for damage. Cham will take all 6 gases, and just like last game, +1 range. Okay, so it looks like +1 range into a more Hydra heavy composition, just like we saw last game with Ling Bane support. Yep, there's that Hydra Den, which means once again Cham may go for another lair tech all in. It's on Cham to tech up or not, so he should be joining up to around 80 on 4 bases, and whether or not he throws down infestation pits, I mean, we'll see. We shall see. Remember last game he did heavily delay his pit in favor of maxing out. Could do it again. More trigger he does that, cancel the 4th base, not bad. Delays the 4th. Does poke out. It's relatively safe to do so. He does have Oracle support. But remember, trigger is pushing without blink, so this is still a little bit risky. It's still risky. So as they move in. And can we force a cancel? Oh. Stasis goes off. No major connection. Ooh, backup stasis is denied. And Cham saves the expansion. Not bad. He saves the base. At least for now. Link is now done. Stalkers, they dive in. Gets a Hydra. Gets the 1. Trigger is forced to pull away. And he's totally, yeah, we're turtling up. Oh, this is a little bit different though. So unlike last game, Trigger, he's going to Storm. He's going to be delaying his fourth. Delayed fourth base in favor of double Robo production into double Robo, double Immortal. Okay. So going to Mass Immortal. This is a bit of a different follow-up. Meanwhile, Cham, he's running up to 71. He's cutting workers a little bit earlier. Last game, he joined up to 81. And he's building up. He's building up his Hydras, building up his Lings. Cham is getting ready for his push. He's getting ready to commit. As Cham is choosing not to drone, not to take gases, and not to throw down a Lurker Den or an Infestation Pit. So just like last game, he's going for a Lair Tech all-in, except this time he's committing a little bit harder. Because he's cutting workers earlier, which means he's pushing earlier as well. Okay. So here we go. It's all or nothing for Cham. Oh, he's also doing this without banelings. True, true. So instead of a Ling Bane Hydra all-in, it's going to be just purely Ling Hydra. Which means more gas is being spent on Hydras. So very Hydra heavy. Double Storm on the ramp. Jesus. Yeah, double Storm on the ramp. Oh no! Cham, he sends in the storms. Goes back in. Brutal connections. Another Brutal Storm. We've got two, soon to be three more storms. One Night Templar goes down. Lose one, lose two. Very nice target finding there out of Cham. Trigger, he's running out of storms. The base is getting low. The Hydras, they move back into the storm. Trigger, he has a better concave, and Trigger, he will chase us down. And Cham, he cannot keep up, and now he throws down a Baneliness. Oh, that is late. Late Baneliness out of Cham. Cham, he bled out so many Hydras. And he has lost his momentum. This is a risky counterattack as there's no War Prism. No War Prism with the army. Trigger, he has to be so careful here. Trigger pulls away. When he went for his double Ramai, there was nothing to kill. And he decides to take up. Ooh, okay. So Trigger, he could have just kept pushing, and he might have been able to kill, by the way. He might have just been able to end the game, but Trigger, he decides to back off and to go for a Sky Toss and to build up into the late game. You know, Cham with the surround. Comes in for a flank, does punish Trigger. Link is almost ready. Ooh, losing one Stalker. One Stalker goes down. That could have been so much worse. And Trigger's just turtling up. He's just turtling up. There are now more cannons, more shield batteries. Turtling up as hard as he can. Second Stargate's on the way. And Cham, if you notice, as Trigger is turtling, after Trigger survived the first failed all-in, Cham's just going for a third round. He's just going for another wave. This time with Banelings. Storms, they cover the Hydras. What about the Banelings, though? Yeah, we're lacking Storms. He is. Oh, he comes over. Never mind. He comes over from behind, cashes out the army, and Cham is running out of steam. He's running out of army. Remember, Cham is all in. Takes down 2 Eye Templar. Very nice. Nice Bailey connections. But GG, he has nothing left. And Trigger, he will extend his lead. He will take game number 4, up 3-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. I don't blame Cham for committing to these all-ins, especially on Tokamak. Playing a late game on Tokamak is so difficult here. And it was really interesting to see Cham go for that second all-in. Basically, he was hoping that Trigger would be too greedy or would push out. But instead, Trigger, he was defending. Remember, he threw down a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries. He teched up, and Trigger, he did decide not to be aggressive, not to be active on the map, which means that the follow-up second all-in here out of Cham was that much weaker, as his opponent was already kind of getting ready for that kind of play. So solid read there by Trigger. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 5. Trigger is now 1 game away from claiming the series. Cham, he has to fight back here and now to extend the series, have a chance at the ace match. Let's go. So we are loading into ley lines for game number 5. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Mexican Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Exertus Esports, down heavily in the series. The pressure is on. It is Cham. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. Here we go. So we're getting into game 4. Now, as we load into ley lines, something important to take note of here is that we've gone through the larger maps. Maganatha and Tokamak. We're done. We made it through Maganatha and Tokamak. I don't know what the Vitos were. I don't know where Incorporeal is going to lie in this series. But now that we're loading into maps like ley lines, this is where aggression is favored. This is where all-ins are stronger. This is where defending on 3 and 4 bases is more difficult. As the rush distance by ground is shorter, rotations can hit harder, and of course you can hit the natural as it is more exposed compared to on other maps as well. So this is gonna make all-ins more accessible here for Cham. Now, I don't know if I like the idea of Cham going for another all-in, just because we've seen the same kind of style 3 games in a row, or sorry, 2 games in a row so far, right? 2 games in a row. Do we really want to make it 3 games in a row? Like, I feel like Trigger, he should already be kind of in the mindset of being very defensive and not being too greedy and being very tech heavy on 3 bases instead. What I'm getting at, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2 more robos on 3 bases once again, before the 4th. That would make a lot of sense. Meanwhile, we'll see if Cham does go for a 3-base all-in or not. For now. Calming down. Cham is building up. Again, Stargate opener out of Trigger. And so here we are building up. Now this Cham pulls out of gas. Being as efficient as possible. This is important just because it means, okay, we're not rushing into like an early lair or the Roach Warren. There's no early tech, none in sight. Sure, does shade in. Okay, gets into the bases, gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. 3, 4? Ooh, 4 drones go down. No shot, we get up to 5. Yeah, 4 drone kills, a nice damage here by Trigger, gets 1 extra circling as well. The best start we've seen so far. So nice start at the Trigger. The Lings are counter-attacking and the Oracle arrives in time. The Oracle is ready. Trigger, he does defend. And from here, we'll see if Cham once again goes for the earlier lair or if he goes into an earlier Eva chamber. He has gone there first 2 games in a row, which has been leading into these earlier Hydra timings. It's been a very similar style 2 games in a row so far. Earlier Twilight Council out of Trigger. 3 more gates as well. This could be 4-gate claves, otherwise it could be early blink. Early blink would just be very safe. It would mean that blink would finish up in time to defend against an all-in. Yeah, forge on the way, should be blink. Meanwhile, Cham is going for a lair first. 3 games in a row. Trigger, what do you have for us? Charge, I do like this. Charge is on the way instead. Now, I believe there's a couple things happening here. In my mind, I was thinking like he could actually go charge instead to hard counter. If Cham is skipping roaches, now Cham, he has skipped roach production 2 games in a row. He didn't do so in game 1, but 2 games in a row, he has been skipping roaches. And if Trigger reads this well, and Trigger, he just scouted the lair timing, he just saw the Evo chamber, he, safety roach warren out of Cham, but the last 2 games, Cham has been skipping roaches. As a result, if he goes Ling Hydra, then this early charge timing can kill. But as we saw, Cham is getting a safety roach warren, so he will have the tools to defend. If he had skipped it, then he'd be in trouble. So once you rotate, getting guys on would be expansions. Prism is on the way, Zealous as well. But again, Cham, he is actually making roaches here. He's going for a roach heavy start, lair is done, no hydras this time, going infestation pit. So this is a big misread at a Trigger. Oof. He's trying to mind game Cham. Yes, and that's not working. As Trigger's moving out. Cham, he scouts with the Overlord, so he knows it's coming. He sees the Archons, he knows that there's charge. Swarm hosts are on the way. And we spoke about it on torches. Swarm hosts are very much so viable against Protoss, specifically against charge-based openers and charge-based builds. And here comes Trigger. And again, Cham is getting ready. Now Cham needs a little bit more time for more roaches. Takes on the first zealot. Local save comes in. And Cham kites well against the charge lots. Okay, kites well, he will shut this down. Prism does finish the warp in. And Trigger, he might get the base. Nah, not even. Yeah, the base survives, the attack is thwarted. Attack is deflected, and then we can counterattack with Swarmers. Once again, solo kiting here by Cham, trading very efficiently. You can see how difficult it is for the Zealous to really gain any value here against this kind of army. And again, Trigger, the reason why this is hurting so much for Trigger is he was hoping it was going to be Ling Hydra. He was hoping it was going to be, oh no, he throws away an Immortal. Okay, thankfully they'll save it. They'll save. But again, he was hoping it was going to be Ling Hydra just like the last 2 games. He was gambling. The gamba, baby, the gamba. Locust wave towards the top side. Cham is almost maxed out. Mineral line gets hit. We're just going for the expansion. They're just going for the Nexus. Nexus barely does survive. Another Locust wave will be enough to bring it down. Cham does pull back. Oh, the Wiles! Oh my god, he gets an Oracle. The Oracle goes down to the Wiles. Brutal pickoff. And Trigger just being pulled apart. He's being pulled apart here. Cham is not going down without a fight. He's looking to bring it back. Takes on the Archon, gets one. Ooh, gets both. And takes on both Archons. Now there's only Immortals. They can hold their own against Roaches. They're holding on. Oof. He takes out the Oracle. The Oracle gets biled. Local Save is getting ready. And it's just been a slow death here for Trigger. No, not again. Another Oracle goes down. There's 3 Oracles falling to the wilds. Cham harnessing his inner dark, Pappy. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, he does a move in here. Gets the mineral line, does catch part of the army. Silver Immortal going down. And Trigger is on his last legs here. Down to 3 Immortals. Oof. Nexus gets piled. And Cham just remaxes, this time with Hydras. This time he's incorporating a couple of Hydras. So from here should be switching into Ling Hydra as a more efficient composition. We even have some Lunkers? Okay. Lurker then is done. No Infestation, no Hive, just Lair Tech Lurkers. Lair Tech Lunkers, fine. Loco save comes in. We can save 2 of the Immortals. I would say a bit of a wasted Locust Wave, but sure. We're helping a bit of copium, Pappy. Copium is real. This Trigger is microing his heart out with these 3 Immortals. Locos hits the base once again. Got the Lair Tech Lunkers moving in. And GG gets called. Cham, he breaks on through, and Cham does fight back, does put another point on the board. Whew. GG, well played. Again, winding it back, it was just a bit of a, I was going to say misread, it was just a bit of a gamble from Trigger specifically. Did gamble quite a bit. He was hoping that Cham was going to be skipping Roaches again, but he skipped Roaches on maps that do kind of allow for that to happen on these larger maps. On a smaller map here, Cham, he did open Roach instead, so the early charge-based build was less effective from the side of Trigger. He committed quite hard on his own 3 bases, and he was shut down completely by the Roach Swarm Host of Cham. So Cham with the almost hard counter to Trigger's build. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Red Protoss. We have the Red Protoss player. We have the Canadian Protoss. So Basilisk still 1 game away from claiming the series. It is Trigger. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Mexican Zerg player. With the Mexican Zerg, we have the Blue Zerg for Executus Esports. It is Cham. Here we go. Here we go as Cham, he does fight back, he does put another point on the board, and Cham, he's 1 game away from tying things up and forcing the ace match. Now, coming into this, welcome to Ultra Love. If you know anything about Ultra Love, you'll know that Ultra Love is known for aggression, is known for all-ins. Ultra Love has a much shorter rush distance by ground, so we do often see shorter games. As a result, we should be seeing Cham play Roaches. Like, Roach-based play is very common, very popular here on this map. I mean, we can even see German taxis and different forms of all-in on this map as well. As a result, Trigger should be playing safe this time. I'm not too fond of the idea of Trigger opening up charge here, just because there's a higher chance that Cham will have Roaches ready. Here we go. Trigger does go for a gate expand into Cybercore. Likewise, Cham going for his own standard opener as well. So far, so good. And again, you can also see how the maps do impact the builds, they impact the play, they impact the decisions of the players. They're pretty important. Do quite a bit. I think for certain matchups, maps are a little bit less effective and less influential. So they can kind of fall by the wayside. But even then, like for actually, I even take that back. Like most maps, I think maybe for mirror matchups they're less impactful, but for all the other matchups, CVP, TVP, and TvZ and ZVT, we do see them impact quite a bit. So we'll see how Trigger does adjust coming into Ultra Love. And now, Stargate. Trigger does commit in. Did you make it out of the bus? Este walk. Oh no. Did you turn into stir fry? Did you? Oh god. Trigger does throw in the natural. Threaten's still waiting for our tech behind this. As Trigger is taking his third and is going for a Twilight Council before the third base. Okay, very early council, very early tech. With this Trigger, there's a high chance it's going to go into Glaive Adepts. I don't really like the idea of Glaives here, especially because there's a high chance of Cham opening up with Roaches, but we'll see. As the Oracle does hit the natural. 2 drones. Yes, 2 drones. You're an animal, Walker. You're an animal. Oh, no. Extra Gateway is going to be on the way. If we see a Forge, then this can still be Blink, but there it is. Glaive production here for Trigger is rushing into Glaive Adepts. As we mentioned, this did he did telegraph Glaives because of the early Twilight Council, and we'll see if Cham does skip Roaches. Now, a Link Bane defense is still possible here for Cham. Is still possible. But he needs tech of some kind. Ooh, does go Lair first. Lair first out of Cham. This is lining up for Trigger. So far, so good. Here comes the first handful of Vanilla Adepts. As we're banking, we should be banking up Adepts back at home. Oracle pokes in. And stay through Roach Warren. Yeah, 5-minute Roach Warren here to Cham. It's a little bit later here because of the faster lair. And we'll see if Cham can pull this off. So here come the Adepts. Cham just droned. Oh no! Chammy just droned up. Now is not the time. Adepts, they make their way in. Lings, they race back. They race back home to defend. First couple of queens going to be saved. Not bad. The Lings are going down. And does he get into the mineral line? Oh, he commits. He commits to the shade. Roach production still on the horizon here, but we need more Adepts. And Lings, they are slowly dealing with this here, down to 5 Adepts. More are coming. More on the way. And more Adepts are on the way as we cancel the shade. Adepts have maintained their presence here at the natural. We have more Adepts head toward the third. So far, really nice crisis management here by Cham. Cham, he deals with this. He cleans it up. Yeah, takes care of all the Adepts, and he's barely lost any workers here and losing 8 drones so far. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. 11 drones. 11 drones go down. Cham does clean up, and behind this Cham, he does fall behind economically. What do we have at him defend? Trigger, he does have some shield batteries on the way. Sentries in mortal production as well, and Cham, he is stuck at home. He's pushing. He needs to do something across the map. Trigger doesn't really have much of an army. This is it. He has 4 sentries. Uh-oh. He has only 4 sentries. This is the army. But Cham pulls away. Cham, he pulls away. He's droning up at the same time. Trigger, he does reinforce. Extra shield batteries. And the game is going to slow down. We're slowing things down. Ooh, as Trigger overextends. Big overextension. Now, when it comes to the damage that was dealt, it was okay. Killing 14 drones in total. Like, this is okay damage by Trigger, but ideally he wanted more. Ideally, he did want more crippling damage. Likewise, you can see the Trigger, he's actually reacting quite hard. Jesus, he throws down 2 more shield batteries, 2 more cannons, and another pair of shield batteries as well. All of this money, all these cannons and shield batteries, could be a 4th. This could be a 4th base. And the problem here is that Cham has been droning. Cham has been droning, Cham is getting another expansion, Cham invests in multiple upgrades, and now he's focusing on his army production. Trigger, he's playing too scared. He's playing very scared here. As he's throwing down more pylons. Whose Nation confirms droning, so now he knows. Yeah, he saw the transfer, he saw the drones. As Cham is still making more workers. And if you remember, we spoke about this at the beginning of the series, how we've seen Cham beat Showtime in a very similar fashion, where Showtime would misread Cham, would over-defend, and then fall behind. And that's what we're seeing here. With Trigger, he's intentionally staying on 3 bases, and he's going for a 3-base all-in. Extra gateways, +1, blink, war prisms on the way to reinforce. And here comes Trigger. And again, all this side defense, it never came into play. Right? This never came into play. It is still a terrifying army, true. It's still a massive force. But Cham, he's done droning. And now Cham has the greater economy, which means the longer this goes on, the better it is for Cham. Trigger, he's on a timer. Cham is supply blocked. Ooh, brutal supply block. Trigger starts stepping in. Steps in, Bailey's are coming from behind. Nice force fields locking them down. We're coming for this round regardless. Here the Immortals are exposed. He gets 1. Brings down 1 Immortal. Poised to being pulled. It's still quite close here, but he takes out another Immortal down to 2. Yeah, 2 Immortals left. Stalkers, they crumble, and Cham, he holds. He holds. He cleans up the army completely. And remember, Trigger, he had no expansion. He had no 4th base. He had no follow-up. And Cham, he's going to force the ace match. He's going to tie this series up. Send that back. After taking a very nice lead in this series, Trigger, the last 2 games, he's been hyper aggressive. These last 2 games, and it has not worked out. Has not panned out for him. As Trigger's not contained. Cham, he's droning, by the way. He's droning up. Drones up to 70. On the rocks, forcing his way in. We have 20 more leagues behind this as well. A little bit late when it comes to production. And Trigger, he should hold on. Again, thankfully he had all that side defense. But the problem here is that yes, Trigger, he survives, he holds, but he's only on 3 bases. Cham is getting a 5th. Fifth base is on the way. Trigger, and now he expands, but this is a very late 4th base for Trigger. Ay, ay, ay. And Cham should be the first to max. It's going to be the first to max out. And he should not allow Trigger to get a 4th base. Should not be allowed. Cham collapsing it from multiple angles. Bailey drilling forward. We potentially have a couple of force fields on the right hand side. Never mind. Sentries, they go down. Oof. And even if Cham doesn't kill here, he's trading. He's trading with the army. He can back up. He can rebuild. Cham doesn't have the biggest economic lead, so he has to be careful. If he drone up to 80, like, sure, he can do this. But he's only on 69. Nice. As Cham zones away the army, Lings, they deal with the expansion. The Nexus should fall. And Cham's win condition, kill the 4th. Just kill the 4th base. Now trying to get into the immortals. He gets one. Gets one, gets two. Two immortals go down. Three immortals left. Two immortals remaining. And Cham is just out trading Trigger. Storm is complete. We get the first and only Storm. And in the midst of all this, Cham, he was running. He was running up. He was running up to 75, soon to be 77 workers. He goes to the fourth base once again. And collapses in. Just collapses in from here. Bane is getting into the mineral line. The final stand for Trigger. GG gets called, and Cham, he will tie the series up 3-3. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, this aggressive style here from Trigger is not panning out here, especially on these smaller maps. We saw Glaive Adepts into 3-base all-in, but not just that. Bearing in mind that the all-in was delayed, was delayed just because Trigger, he was over-defending, he was misreading Cham. Cham was just droning and saturating after his losses, whereas Trigger was getting ready for a counterattack that never arrived. So that did delay gateways, did delay a fourth base if the plan was to take an expansion, or did delay production to go for an all-in. GG, well played. Whew. With that, we are going all the way to the ace match here. We're going to be loading into game 7, going to be loading into Incorporeal. Let's go. Let us go. Sorry, I had the wrong score out of game. There we go. We're tied up at 3-3. We're going to the ace match, and this morning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss for Basilisk. It is Trigger. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself, representing Xeratus Esports. It is Cham. Does tie things up, does bring us all the way to the ace match. Again, Cham, he's been popping off in this matchup in this tournament, not just in this tournament, just in general here. Cham, he already beat Trigger once in this tournament in the group stage. He beat Astray in the group stage as well, but those were shorter series. Those were best of threes. Now here in a best of 7, went all the way to the ace match here. We're going the distance back. Let's go. Made it, and coming into Incorporeal, I do favor Trigger. I was favoring Cham on smaller maps like Pylon, maps like Ley Lines, Ultra Love, as well. And hey, we saw Cham pop off on those smaller maps. I was assuming that Cham was going to be more aggressive, but it was actually Trigger failing in his aggression on those smaller maps. Now welcome to Incorporeal. This is one of the larger maps in the map pool, alongside Tokamak, alongside Maganatha, and on these larger maps, it is a little bit easier to turtle up and defend and get into Sky Toss. That is where Trigger is more favored over Cham, if he can get there. So this is where the dynamic changes quite a bit. This is where we're expecting standard play out of Trigger, and he has not been playing standard for quite some time. These last couple of games, Trigger has been a lot more aggressive and chaotic. But here we're expecting, Stargate opener into a third base, into +1 and blink, in towards splash damage, into a fourth base, into defensive play. The pressure is going to be on Cham to try to break his opponent. Now, I will say that rotations are a little bit easier here in Incorporeal, rotating between the third, the natural, and the fourth base as the aggressing player. So that's going to be available here to Cham. But again, a lot of these bases are on the high ground. There's a lot of elevated positions here, a lot of ramps, a lot of high ground. So Trigger, that's why this map is a little bit easier to defend on. This area here on the low ground is more open. That is true. This can be a little bit more difficult to turtle up and defend. But this is where the main army should be stationed when we're on 4 bases. Like, the main army should be stationed here, and this should be a full wall off here at the third. But we'll see if we can get there. So now it is going to be the Stargate out of Trigger. Cham does catch it for his depths. No, barely shades away. Shades away on 1 HP. The 1 HP of depth. Aye, aye, aye. Be careful, man. But so far, a clean defense here by Cham. He should deter the shade. There we go. Does deter. Pulls out of gas. Sugar does break in. Takes a lot of hits here on his Oracle. Does get a, not quite a third drone. Yeah, not quite. Gets a lava at least and does pull out. Does pull away. This time it is a bit of a cleaner start out of Trigger. Typically in this series we've seen Trigger lose his first 2 depths. This time he does keep them both alive, so that means his third base is safe and sound. Likewise, Twilight counts on Forge, +1 on Blink on the horizon here for a Trigger. And there's a higher chance that Cham is going to be skipping out on his Roaches and going Ling Hydra. There's a higher chance of that happening. We'll see if he does embrace that. Likewise, the upside do shade into the mineral line. Drones are going to be going down. Oof. Getting it to 5, getting it to 6. Yeah, 6 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. 7 drones. Brutal damage. 7 drones do go down. Chammy's racing across the map. And he's had a bit of a rocky start here. It is going to be Lair first, so Lair into Evo Chamber. This looks like +1 range. It looks like, once again, Ling Hydra out of Cham. We've seen this quite a bit already this series, specifically in the first half. Yep, there it is. Hydrogen's on the way into +1 range. This is his go-to on larger maps. Oh, never mind. He does mix it up here. We have a hidden spire next to the Hydra Den. Oh, okay. But does right on the spire. We'll see if we can get away with it unscouted. This goes off. Oracle does pull away. And if this goes unscouted, we'll see what Cham can get done here. Trigger, he's got Blink, he has Storm, he's getting defensive cannons. Wait, what? Okay, Trigger is getting defensive cannons in his main base. You would never get this unless you believe that mutas are a possibility. I'm a little confused just because we haven't seen anything. We've seen extra gases, we've seen Hydras. With these extra gases, you can assume it's going to be higher tech in towards lurkers, but it's possible here that Trigger is like, yo, Cham, he does not rush into lurkers, so he's getting ready for mutas instead. The cannon is now done. Army's in position. And we'll see what Cham can achieve with these mutas, as there is plenty of site defense. Built up the Storm, built up the Templar. Lings move out on the right, and mutas towards the left. But at the same time, Trigger, he does poke out. Trigger does push through the center. Mutas, they do hit the main. Cham's being active, he gets spotted. He's keeping Trigger busy. The fourth base is vulnerable. It's one losing 2 probes. Losing 3. I mean, so far, decent damage. Again, the natural base was exposed. Cham found that damage. Yeah, getting 11, getting it to 12. A very nice damage here by Cham. He will lose these mutas, though. They are going to be cornered. But the main army is amassing. You have lurkers morphing in. I believe these are lair tech lurkers. There is no hive. But Cham is max, and he's here to end the game. And he does catch the first immortal. Very nice start. Oh, he does end in the storms, though. Brutal storms. Now, on the one hand, Cham has a massive army. On the other hand, we just see Trigger. He has a much more efficient composition. Likewise, he has a lot of side defense here at his 4th and at the 3rd. So, where's Cham headed? Rotates over towards the right-hand side. Trigger, he's out of position. Thankfully, does have an army ready. Lands 1 storm. And you can see this is why, like in the latest patch, it is a little bit easier to turtle up on 4 bases. That storm, especially on Incorporeal, where there are these narrow ramps, 1 storm is enough to deter. Like 1 storm is enough. And Cham, he has to tech up. Infestation Pit's on the way. Late pit, late hive, late tech for Cham. He was hoping he could end the game, but he cannot. And Trigger is getting away with Sky Toss. He's building up his Sky Toss. Cham does go for this around. Oh. Does force some morph in. So it takes down 2 Eye Templar. You can see Trigger now taking that supply lead. Working to max out. 2nd Spire for Cham. And this is now just a rough position for Cham. It's just he's just being outscaled. He's falling further behind. It looks like Chammy's waiting for his Spire Tech. There we go. Here come the Corruptors. So he's building up his Corruptor count. Trigger splits up his army. There's barely any creep. Oh, the ship has arrived. Can always recall. And Cham has to buy time for his army. He has to buy time for those Corruptors. For the Broodlords. Cham does something over the dive, gets 1. Okay, gets 1 of the Tempest, gets 1, gets 2. He's just gonna commit. Ooh, and he will stand in the storms. He takes down 3 Tempests. Baits the army into lurkers. We get a decent trade here from Cham. Not bad. He trades out 7 Corruptors. Abducts 2 more. Takes down 2 more Tempests. Very nice. That's 6 Tempests going down. And Trigger is not trading well here. Back picks off, more Stargates, more Tempest production. Ideally, you do need a nice supportive army here of Archons and High Templar, but that's just not here for Trigger. So his army is just not quite there. It's not what it needs to be. Jeez, that's the 5 more Stargates? Okay. Getting up to 8 Stargates. It's a lot of production. You know what? Cham setting up for Nidus Worms. Yeah, this here's in between the bases. Double Nidus into the main. Nidus Worms are dealt with. Now, what I will say is that Trigger does have the superior economy. Trigger, he will be taking both center bases. I say both, sorry. Out of 4 center bases, he's taking 3 of them. Jesus. As it is very difficult for Zerg players to push up. And take those bases. As you have 16 Corruptors. Is enough anti-air. But what about the ground army here? Yeah, 5 Brood Lords, not that many. Nidus does complete. We have Mass Lurker going for the counterattack. Trigger does respond. Same time, Trigger trying to push in. He will lose some of the Tempest. Lose 1. 1 Tempest picked up. The Mothership just going on its own. Let's go. Nidus finishing up in the main, but there's nothing in the Nidus Worm. There's nothing in the Nidus yet. Looks like you're trying to rotate here in the center. Yeah, they load up a little bit too late. Bold move here by Trigger, gets 1 Broodlord. Yeah, 1 Broodlord goes down to the blink. Lurkers, they still keep harassing. Overseer almost goes down. But still going for the double Nidus Storm, still being so annoying. Trigger responds. And once again, like, these are like nice harassing moves here from Cham. It's impressive, but Trigger, he still has his center bases. And that's all that matters. Recalls top right, cleans up all the lurkers. The main army of Cham pushes to the center. Ooh, Nidus does complete though. Mass Lurker into the main. And Trigger forced to react, and finally Trigger, he will lose the center base. Yeah, center base should go down. Trigger is heavily out of position. All thanks to the Nidus Worm. Again, this should not have happened. He recalls in. Yeah, a bit of a misstep there as well. Bit of miscontrol out of Trigger. So he does move in. And Cham is holding his zone, but again, it's the economy that's killing him at the end of the day. Like, Cham, he has a very low drone count. His bases don't really have the best saturation available to them either. And even though Cham has had some nice moves, he can't really keep this up for too much longer. Cham can't afford it. Oh, speaking of. Yeah, as Cham will bleed out 2 more Broodlords, even 3. And 3 Broodlords go down. Ay, ay, ay. So they pull away behind the mineral land at the same time that Fungals are connecting. decent feedbacks. Mass form on the Tempest, okay. Storm goes to connect. Storm on the Corruptors. Oh, as he does force his way through the storms and takes he stands in the storms. Oh my god. So many Corruptors go down. Not like this. And Cham, sure, he wins the fight at the cost of how many so far of 8 Corruptors. And Trigger can remax. Trigger still has a massive bank. He has 5k gas. It's crazy. He has all the gas he needs. How many Corruptors are left? 16. Okay. We've remaxed. Remax with Corruptor. Trigger, he's making 4 Tempest and 4 carries at a time. Remember, he has 8 Stargates. So he's remaxing with this Sky Toss very quickly. Cham does catch one of the Tempests, does catch the carrier as well. Cham finally taking a fresh base. Going for the center expansion. He does need it desperately. He needs that hatchery. He pulls away. He has 5 Infestors, 3 Vipers. He has a decent amount of spell casters. Like, he can take a fight, a very efficient fight as well, but he needs to. Like, there's a lot of pressure on him to just have the perfect engagement. Because he has no gas bank. Kongo does land. There's a bit of a follow-up here with the Vipers. Abducts 2 of the carriers. Yeah, Mass Storm of the Broodlords. Tempest to target them down. That's a lot of Broodlords falling. No storms. Okay. And no storms available. Archon Volley goes off. Gets one more shot off. That one Archon. The hero Archon. Yeah, so down to 5 Corruptors. Down to 5, down to 3. Down to 2. 2 Corruptors left. There's not enough anti-air. As you mentioned, the Sky Toss of Trigger reigns supreme, cleans up every single Corruptor. 1 Corruptor makes it out of the fight. And Tempest, they can just keep pushing. They just keep on pushing. As you mentioned, like, the anti-air was just not there for Cham, and unfortunately he has no bank. He has no bank. Cannot rebuild, he cannot remax. The Tempest, they just go ham. Cham, he finally gets the space up and running, but it's too late. It's too little too late, and likewise there's no gas. There's no gases here either. Which is the most important thing for Cham, is gas income. He just doesn't have anything. And Trigger is going in for the kill. Is going in for the kill. Again, this is the most crucial mining base for Cham. It's going to go down. But also, as we mentioned at the start of this game, it is very, very difficult on Incorporeal for the Zerg player to take the center bases. It is so difficult just because of the terrain. Just because, yeah, the terrain here on Incorporeal, Sky Toss works so well, rotating back and forth between all 4 center expansions. So for Trigger, for Protoss to take these 4 center bases is a lot easier. So they had just a massive lead against Cham. I mean, to be up 4 bases against the Protoss, I mean, nice thing run by. Lings, they get in. And GG gets called. Trigger, he will overwhelm, he will snowball out of control, and Trigger, he will claim the series 4-3, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played, Trigger. He was able to stabilize, able to get up to a very high base count, a very stable economy, and embrace his SC2's. Even though I will say Cham had some better fights. Cham, he had some better fights, he had some better control when it came to his spellcasters, when it came to his corruptors. He had some very impressive engagements, but the reality is Cham could not expand. The reality is that Cham, he was stuck on 5 bases. He was stuck on 5 bases. He could not get a 6th. Meanwhile, Trigger was freely taking the center expansions. But again, this is more unique to Incorporeal. It's more unique to this map just because of all the high ground, over the elevated positions in the center, and of course of the strength of SC2's, specifically on this map, rotating between those 4 center bases as well. So Cham, he just had a very hard time maintaining and building up any kind of bank. GG. Over time, he just burned through his bank, burned through his resources, and with that, Trigger, he will claim the series, and we have our 2 finalists. Exclamation mark B. Oh, sorry, we don't have a bracket command, but let us switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket itself. It went the distance though, so shout out to Cham for going all the way to the ace match against Trigger. As I mentioned before, Cham did defeat Trigger in the group stage, and he also defeated Astray in the group stage as well. Like Cham, he beat both finalists in this tournament, but in best of 3s. He beat them in best of 3s. Here in a best of 7 format, Trigger comes out on top. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the grand finals. It is going to be a best of 9. Let's go. Best of 9 finals between Trigger and Estrella. Again, Trigger and Estrella, they're the top 2 players of the Americas region, so fitting to see them face off. Coming into this, it's going to be a very fun rematch. Of course, Trigger, he did kind of claim the mantle of best player in the Americas off of Estrella. There's a reason why Trigger, he was representing the Americas at the Esports World Cup at EWC. Stray was able to get there through the Last Chance Global qualifier, but Trigger, he was able to be the representative of the region. So Trigger's kind of like risen through the ranks and gotten to that place. Likewise, Trigger is also in better form, as Astray has been taking a lot of time off from the game post EWC. But despite that, as we saw, Astray was looking very in form against Special, against Juanito. Maybe did just need a day to kind of warm up, to get into form, and we'll see how he faces off against Trigger. Let's go. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. And when we come back, when we return, we'll have that best of 9 finals between Trigger and Estrella. We'll see you soon. We'll see you then. Let's go.